All right, Shalom, Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakudash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and others of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, I'm going to be going into a quick lesson entitled In My Kitchen, Food is Thy Medicine. All right, and I'm going to just hit the points. Not going to be too long-winded, so Lord's will just be straight to the point lesson. All right, and I'm gonna start off with this precept, Sirach 38 and 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth. He that is wise will not abhor them. You see, a lot of times herbs are bitter. Herbs are stuff that a lot of people, especially our people, Israel, don't really like to partake in. All right. But what you come to find out is that the herbs are very helpful for a lot of different ailments, diseases, so on and so forth. And even though they're bitter, just like the truth is bitter, it's important. It's important to implement these herbs into our regimen. All right, because just like the truth is medicine, the herbs are medicine. All right, real quick. Revelation 10 and 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, which is talking about this truth consuming the whole Bible. All right, the knowledge and wisdom and understanding. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. You see? So the truth is sweet at first, but when you meditate on it, and once it digests and settles in, knowing this wicked world, all right, it becomes bitter. And herbs are bitter, but yet that bitterness is necessary to heal, okay? To heal. And after a while, you learn to love the bitter, the sweet and the bitter, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and just go into a few of these herbs that I got here. I'm gonna try to say where I got them from so brothers could check it out. And Lord's with us to be edifying. So this right here is sea moss capsules, wild crafted sea moss. All right, take 2 to 3 capsules daily. Right, and it says it's natural source of 92 of out of 102 minerals that the body needs, and we know that this food is very much so lacking in minerals. You know, this food is very much so lacking in minerals. This genetically modified modern diet, the American diet, standard American diet, is lacking in minerals. And this devil doesn't observe the land Sabbath. Okay, let's grab that precept. Because even the land is supposed to have a Sabbath on the 8th year, or the 7th year, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there it is. Leviticus 25 and 1. And Yahweh said unto Moses, spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, and saying to them, when you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahweh. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for Yahweh. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. Even the land needs to rest. But do you think this devil observes that? No. He doesn't care for the commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, 5th verse. That which groweth of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee. Okay? For thy cattle and for the beasts that are in thy land shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. And then it goes into the Jubilee, which is a debt elimination on the 50th year. All right, which is devil obviously doesn't observe that either. All right, but this food is grossly lacking in minerals. That's why something like sea moss is so important. All right, now this is capsules. You know, it's easy. Take it with some spring water, but you could do a lot of different. You know, there's a lot of ways you could actually get the sea moss itself, soak it, and then blend it, and then you kind of learn how to get the consistency the right way. And it's a gel. You can put that in smoothies. Excuse me. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. All right, here's another one. And this is a colon cleanse detox. Cleanses the colon and helps to remove mucus. Yeah, because mucus, excess mucus, a certain amount of mucus is necessary in the body, but too much mucus is where problems start to arise. So it says Cascara Sagrada Prodigiosa, rhubarb root duck flower. So all of these things, and it says take 1 to 2 in the morning and at night. All of these herbs are meant to remove mucus and help to cleanse out the colon. All right, because a lot of jakes are straight up full of shit, literally and spiritually. Okay, and a lot of us brothers sometimes, hey, you know, you get backed up and you need stuff like this. You know, it ain't the most attractive conversation, but it must need be. All right, iron builder. Okay, this is also critical. It says help to purify and rebuild red blood cells, and it's sarsaparilla, however you want to pronounce it. Burdock root, yellow dock, and guaco. Now I have guaco right here. Okay, so this stuff has a lot of iron, and the thing about iron is it's magnetic. It's a metal that's magnetic. So when iron is heavy in a food in the soil, it attracts other minerals due to the amount of iron. Other minerals typically are contained in things that are rich in iron. Okay, and iron deficiency is a big thing with Jake. Okay, and having those red blood cells healthy, you know, a lot of Jake deal with sickle cell and things like that, where his blood cells are misshapen. But you can use iron-rich herbs like this in order to um, counteract that, and eventually a lot of these diseases can be overcame. Diabetes, it's all through the Lord. And then one thing I should definitely mention is to pray before using any of these herbs, because that's the way that it works best. All right, dandelion root. Okay, this is another good one. I forget. I'm not going to remember every single benefit to every one of these, but you know, just Google it. All right. But dandelion root, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this deals with inflammation. Most of these herbs that I have here, this is eucalyptus. All right, and they smell good. You could put this in a bath also to soak your body in. A lot of these deal with inflammation. They're anti-inflammatory properties. Elderberry, this is good to boost the immune system. All right, they have and it's always best to get the actual herb, the actual berry itself, because you know whenever you get something from CVS like elderberry syrup, it's like very watered down. You always want to get the actual herb itself, because that's where it comes from. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All the extra stuff and chemicals Esau adds is unnecessary. All right, mullein leaf. I believe this is good for your lungs too, if I'm not mistaken. All right, this is another one right here, coconut charcoal. Detox and gas relief. So this absorbs, it's like a sponge, and it absorbs toxins in the body. So let's say you have a stomach disturbance. It's always good to have some of this, especially the coconut one, because it's more natural. All right. It says toxins are everywhere. Sourced from 100% coconut shells. Coconut charcoal traps toxins and gas to flush them out of your body like a system cleanup. Take coconut charcoal when you're on the go and looking for reliable gas relief. Yeah, because sometimes it happens, you know. You get bloated. especially from these nasty foods. Helps eliminate toxins, so on and so forth. So this is very good and very helpful stuff. This right here is a tea that I made. I took about a gallon of spring water and I made like tea for the week. So this is like I took all of these and basically I brought the water to a boil and then I left it on low and let it overnight to steep. And this is a very strong medicine right here. This has all of these different herbs that I just mentioned, pretty much, give or take a few in it. All right. And if you don't like the bitterness, you could always sweeten it with some of this. This is the best sweetener you can pretty much get, and it's not that expensive. All right. Of organic blue agave. All right. And these, where I got these from was all natural healing. You know, now sometimes it might be a little pricey. So, we could just get what we can, you know, because we're dealing with limited resources depending on the situation. But, it's always better to invest in your health than cars and clothes and bullshit. That ain't gonna matter. Everything within a balance, every brother's gonna do what he feels is best through the spirit, but just some advice through the spirit. We all like to get fly, but what's more fly than having your health in order, you know? This right here, black seed oil, okay? And they said that this can cure everything except death, which Yahweh Shai is the cure for death. All right, he conquered death. But this stuff right here is very good for you. Strong, immune boosting, improve immunity. It says control your appetite and blood sugar. Okay. So it's a lot of good benefits to black seed oil, as I'm sure you brothers know. All right. In terms of sweeteners, the best sweeteners that I know of is agave and maple syrup. And also, if you like to bake, you could even have cookies, but have them like alkaline and healthy. But you could bake them yourself. Like I made walnut butter. I have it in the fridge, but I'm not gonna pull it out right now. But I made walnut butter at home, and walnut butter, um, I made it from coconut milk. I think it was like a tablespoon of spelt flour. Tahini. This stuff is great too to make different things with. By itself, it doesn't really have much of a taste, but it's like a butter base. It's made from sesame seeds, straight up. Yahabashim Yashabakatam, Akim Shalawam. So this is the base for the walnut butter, and then you mix some I think like a cup of this, a cup of of walnuts, some agave syrup to sweeten it a bit, and then you can have, and that take like 5 minutes to do. Put it in the blender, put a pinch of sea salt, and you can make your own walnut butter, which is better for you than peanut butter. You know, walnut butter. You can make Brazil nut butter. You could make all these things at home pretty much. So that's just something to think about. Some cinnamon. Cinnamon is good too. It has a nice taste. You got to use only a little bit is necessary. Yeah, this is Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon, which you can find on Amazon. This is like the original form of cinnamon that's not as altered. As we know, pretty much everything out here is altered in some way, shape, or form. Whether it has pesticides, whether it was genetically modified, whether they spliced the seed and made a hybrid. But this one is supposed to be close to the original, which is, it says, known as true cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon is from the Cinnamomum zelanicum species. Compared to cassia, it is lighter in color with an alluring scent and a mild sweet flavor. This wonderfully aromatic spice is ideal for baking, making tea, and a plethora of other culinary uses. Yeah, this is delicious in the tea. And another thing, you could use agave to sweeten the tea. It's the best sweetener, and it's not gonna really, it says naturally low glycemic, so it's not gonna raise your blood sugar too much. Everything in moderation, of course, This is great right here. Walnuts. It always mentioned that walnuts, they're shaped like a brain, and they're actually good for your brain. You know, which reminds me of this herb right here. No, not yellow dock is good too, which we mentioned. Yellow dock is in this one as well. In this colon cleanse, you have yellow dock. See, what does it say? No, not in the colon cleanse. In the iron, Salakia. The iron one has the yellow dock. See, so that has a lot of iron in it. Yellow dock is very much known for its iron, and iron is super important for health. All right. Um, there was another herb that I had called blue vervain. I think here it is. Let me see. Yeah, blue vervain. Here it is. This one is super important right here because it helps to regulate nerve function and it helps to reduce anxiety. Yeah, that's right, brother. You can use dates. Actually, that's the spirit you said that because I actually have date sugar somewhere around here. Yeah, date sugar. There's actually sugar that's made from dates that you could use instead of the refined processed sugar. Like I avoid even cane sugar and like sometimes it's inevitable, but when you have agave and maple syrup and date sugar, you could use those. They even have agave powder. And Amazon be having a lot of this stuff. You would think it would be expensive, but it's not as bad as you think, you know? Or Jake could spend money to get fly, which we all love to do. I'm guilty of it. Ain't nothing wrong with it, to a certain extent, everything in moderation, but we got to spend money on our health, brothers, you know? Whatever, whatever you can muster up, put it towards these things because over time, when the Lord sees that you have a desire for something, eventually, as long as we're being diligent and doing what's expected, the Lord will make a way for us to get what we need, you know? And these herbs are so important, man, to have these herbs, just like the truth. The truth is the most important thing because the Lord could block the healing that these herbs can do. And we have to take them in faith, knowing that Yahweh Shem Yahshai will heal us. Because taking a herb is an act of faith. It's something that came from the earth that the Lord made for us. All right. And Lord's will, if we're of the elect, that means that we made these things in the beginning, so we have a natural inclination towards them. But blue vervain is a super helpful, especially because brothers be stressed out. It helps to calm your nerves, you know, it helps to calm your nerves. I could definitely attest to that. It definitely calms you down. It definitely regulates your nerves so you're not too on edge. 'Cause, this world could stress you the fuck out, man. Excuse my French. This world could stress you out. So it's important to, you know, pray to the Lord and use stuff like this to help. This is one of my favorites though, blue vervain. Super helpful. What else you got here? Olives, I got an olive spread up here. Olives are very helpful. They help to reduce inflammation as well. Let me see what else I got. Oh, this is great too. This is one of my favorites that I kind of been getting into recently is tamarind. Not not very expensive either. This whole box I think was like $5 or $6. You know, sweet tamarind. You crack these open and then you take the veins out. And everything has to have seeds in it. That's the thing. Like this has seeds in it. Um, Seeded watermelon, you know. Like I got this supplement for my seed right here, right? And what does it say on it? Iron, because they need that iron. Okay. That's good stuff, Um, let me see what else. Bear with me one second. Oh yeah, onion. Onion is important. Butternut squash. You can make butternut squash soup. flax seeds. Look what it says: antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, dietary fiber, protein. You see, because really you're supposed to, have a bowel movement like at least once or twice a day. When you're not having a bowel movement, that's where a lot of problems arise because your system gets backed up and it creates a lot of issues. Look, this is grapes with seeds by me. The BJ's has there's a BJ's by me, and I had the membership, and I was gonna cancel it. The only reason I kept it is because they have grapes, seeded grapes, which is very hard to find nowadays. Most grocery stores you go to, they don't have the grapes with the seeds in them. Everything is seedless. It's this devil, you know. Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has jacked everything up, and that's the conversation these people don't want to have. They want to have the anti-Sem conversation, but they don't want to have the who destroyed the earth conversation. You devils, you clearly have the dominion. I just randomly today, the thought came across my mind. I thought of Viacom, which is owned by National Amusements, and National Amusements is owned by it was just a random thought. I just said, let me just look that up randomly to see who owns it. And guess what? Guess who owns it? An Amalekite, something Sumner. I forgot what his name was, but Lord's will, I could do a lesson on that too. And I had this book called the Jewish Confederacy, and that was a book that exposed how in the South a lot of the main slaveholders were all small hats. All right. So it's all out there, man. And Esau looks more desperate by the day. The more he tries to come against it, the more the elect of the nation of Israel is going to wake up. All right. But here's another good thing. Key lines. These are lines that have seeds in them. See, and this helps to remove mucus from the body and alkalize the body. Gives you a lot of energy, and it also gives you a sense of feeling full. Because really, the sense of being hungry comes from your body's desire to have nutrients. So when your body has enough nutrients, you're not just going to be eating just to eat. You're going to be satisfied for the most part. You definitely can eat because we eat for pleasure too. But mainly we're supposed to eat for nutrition. And then when you really get it down packed, you know how to do both, where you could have things that's nutritious. Like I made alkaline cookies that were made from walnut butter and spelt flour, which were actually very sweet and delicious and hit that sweet tooth, but also didn't leave me bloated, didn't make me gain weight, because you could use the alkaline foods, and we ain't over here telling you, hey, brother, if you ain't vegan, you ain't righteous. Because I just had some steak just now, you know, that's off. Because I just was watching the elders and brothers in Boston, and some Rastafari bug out came up talking about, oh, well, y'all eat chicken. You look like a chicken. You eat cow. You look like a cow. Where's the scripture on that? You know? And then the brother Shamyar made a good point on the comments that Solomon, who they talk about, they claim to believe in Solomon, and they always make mention of Solomon, but Solomon wasn't no vegan. Solomon was eating all types of exotic deers and roebuck, heart, this venison, Passover lamb. So, them dudes are bugged out. And the scriptures talk about, Salakia, about just, forbidding to eat meat or judging a brother because of what he eats. Now, of course, we're going to advise brothers to have a healthy diet, but it's not about, oh, well, he eats meat or you don't eat meat. That's each to each his own. And hey, sometimes it is good to go without meat because the meat is so defiled in this kingdom, but you're not going to judge a brother because he had his cheeseburger or something, But yeah, Romans 14 and 2, for one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs, right? When we're sick, We're supposed to be, mainly we eat herbs. You know, you could look in the book of Daniel, and Daniel ate the herbs, the pulse, and that's how his face, his countenance was more clearer than the men that were just eating the richness of the king's table, which is that decadence, which leads to decay and destruction. All right, but it says here, let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for the Most High have received him. So that Rasta dude who went up to the brothers in Boston was talking bullshit, saying that, oh, you know, y'all are not, y'all eat animals, so that makes you wicked. There's no scripture on that, man. Not in the Old or the New Testament. Okay, because we're supposed to eat lamb on the Passover regardless. All right. And actually, certain level of meat is beneficial, but it all depends on the situation. If you want to build strength, if sometimes when you're healing and you need a boost, you can have some meat. You should eat some meat. I just had a little bit of bison, which is like a healthier version. It's healthier. It's like a different species of cow, pretty much bison. All right, and that's something that the Gadites were heavy into, bison, but it's very lean, and I felt stronger after eating it. So you do need a certain level of meat in certain situations, But the point being, you're not going to judge a brother on the basis of whether he is a vegetarian or not. All right. Because look what it says in the fourth verse, Romans 15 and 14 and 4. Who art thou that judgest another man's servant? Because we're all servants of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. See, oh yeah, you got an evil eye because you see the brother over there eating a steak, but you on a herbal journey. you know, don't make you more righteous because you eat herbs. It's good to, it's wise to do, but it doesn't make you any better than the next man. But that dude was bugged the hell out. He thought he was more righteous because he was a vegetarian and he believed in Selassie, which is all fuckery, man. All right. Who art thou that judges another man's servant? To his own master he standeth for falleth. Yea, he shall be holding up, for the Most High is able to make him stand, right? And ultimately, health comes from Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. All right. Yeah, bear with me 1 second. I want to grab something. See this right here. And then I got like this machine where you can make your own like walnut milk and coconut milk. But this is actual walnut milk. All right, milk, and it only has 2 ingredients in it. So I got it at Whole Foods. Sometimes it's on sale. I forget how much it costs, but I use it as a base, and then I make more of it with the milk maker. And you could really just do it with like the milk maker just makes it convenient, but you could actually just use a strainer and some spring water and whatever nut you want. You can make Brazil nut milk, you can make hemp seed milk, you can make walnut milk, and then you could sweeten it with some agave. But this is just filtered water and walnuts. That's all it is, and it's very good for you. Excellent source of omega-3s, good for brain function, helps keep us sharp because we desire the new bodies, but yet while we're in these bodies, we got to take care of them. All right, because the scriptures talk about defiling the temple. Like we're not going to judge a brother on food and drink, of course not. But at the same time, brothers should really do their best to take care of themselves because that's to honor the temple of the Lord. Let's see. That's in the New Testament. I believe that's what, 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. Yep. Oh, you know what? Yeah, the 3rd. Let me read 1 Corinthians 3 and 16. So like eating soda and just Skittles and candy all the time, that's defiling our temples. So that ain't right either. That's imbalanced, First Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, him shall Yahweh Shem Yahushai destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. You see? So defiling the temple is, we're in these, we're the temple of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Spiritually we want to stay pure, but even in these bodies that we're in, because when we're unhealthy and when we have a lot of toxins in our bodies, it makes it easier for demons to take a hold of us and to jack us up. We have enough to deal with. So the best thing to do is to strive to not let health be an issue, and that comes from the Lord ultimately. But we have to also, you know, don't tempt the Lord, you know. Strive for the masteries 144, Sirach 30:25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. See, that's a sign of a sound mind. Shalom, brother. That's a sign of a sound mind. All right. That is definitely a sound of a sign of a sound mind. So now I'm gonna go up here, and a lot of times, Jake loved the seasoning, and there's actually healthy seasonings to use, like cayenne pepper. All right, onion powder is very good as well. Okay, and what you could do is you can make like guacamole. You could take avocados and mash them up and put some cayenne, some onion powder, and some sea salt. Because, Jake is the salt of the earth. We got a whole bunch of different seasonings. You know, I don't know. I've never been to a Jake house where they didn't have a whole collection of seasonings, man. Dill weed is good too. This right here is date syrup. Okay, you can put this in tea, coffee. I don't really drink too much coffee because I don't like how it makes increase my heart rate a little too much. But naturally, because people be drinking coffee to get a boost. Really, if your diet is on point, you don't really need to drink too much of it, because it dehydrates the body. But you could have green tea, which is like a more not too caffeine heavy. This stuff is good too. This is chickpea flour. So if you don't really want to eat meat for a while, there's a way where you could use chickpeas and make it like an egg replacement. Put a little spring water, mix it, season it up, and put it in a pan with some sauteed vegetables. And that is a great way to how it kind of tastes like eggs, Now, brother might try it and say, "I don't taste nothing like eggs." Fuck. But to me, it did. To me, it tasted somewhat like eggs. So it's a decent replacement if you ask me. If you're not looking to have eggs and certain meat, because sometimes it's good to go on a break from that stuff, and then you come back. You have your steak and your chicken, but everything in moderation. And especially because knowledge is increased, we know how defiled the meat is in this world. So we know that it's wise to not overdo it. But this is Arnica tea, all right? And this came from a Northern Kingdom country. This is a Mexican product. Yep, it's a car. All right. It says té de Arnica, Herbasil, todo natural. My Spanish ain't that good, Salakia. And I've heard it my whole life from Jake, Northern Kingdom. You better learn Spanish, motherfucker. But hey, I was raised in New York. I didn't have really a need to. In the school I was at, it was mostly Italians, and I didn't have a need to speak Spanish. I wasn't really amongst any Jakes. And my parents spoke Spanish, but they never taught me. But hey, Lord's will, maybe the Lord will have it that I pick it up some more. But anyways, Arnica, this stuff is phenomenal. What it does is it acts as a natural blood thinner. So certain brothers, like my family history, I have a tendency towards blood clots. And my father dealt with them years back and still deals with them from time to time. So this stuff right here, Arnica, is super helpful when it comes to that, because it helps to decoagulate the blood, because the blood coagulates whenever there's bruising, or you have, because you could use arnica ointment externally, and then sometimes you may have internal bruising, and you could drink this tea and it helps with that. And that's another thing that I put in that tea that I made over there. And I took like a gallon of spring water, and you could get spring water from Whole Foods or Walmart for like $1 and change, a whole gallon, you know, of the spring water. Yeah, the brother said, I heard of arnica from my grandma, and she's Mexican too. Yeah, you see, that's the spirit. So arnica is actually helpful. I actually gave some to my pops, ointment, because he deals with a lot of pains, and he uses that stuff like all the time now. You see, but then he'll tell me, "Yo, why don't be fucking with them herbs?" But then, Jake, man. But yeah, so that stuff is super helpful, arnica. And right here, oh yeah, burdock. Burdock. This is another iron-rich herb, which is super helpful. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. I baked these, right, because I had a little sweet tooth. So, I be cooking, because it's good to learn to cook, Jake. And I'm not the best, but I know a thing or two to get by, because you can't always lean on your woman. It's good to be able to, but you want to be able to mix it up. You want to be able to cook better than her, you know? But this is a walnut butter cookie, which is the walnut butter. I made it from scratch, and it's very chewy and delicious and sweet, but it doesn't uh give you like a headache. When you have too much sugar, sometimes it gives you a headache. But with the natural sugars like date sugar, agave syrup, it doesn't have that negative effect, And really, with a lot of these things, is trial and error, because you got to know what works for you best. Like I know personally for me, arnica helps me a lot. Yeah, she always mentions this other one called Gordo Lobo too, but I don't know exactly what it does though. Yeah, well, hey, that's something to look into. Coconut sugar, right? Yep, that's another good one. I have that somewhere around here too. All right, and if you're gonna try to have meat, I don't really eat meat too often. A couple times a week, maybe every other day, or I might skip a few days or skip a week. Hey, so sometimes I go a month without it, because I feel like it allows the spirit to flow better. But that's just for me personally, you know. That may not be the same case for another brother, you know. But if you're gonna have meat, then try to get the best that, try to get the top quality that you can. And it doesn't necessarily have to be super expensive. Bella Nevins is a good brand of chicken. If you're gonna get chicken, try to get Bella Nevins. I don't know if that's available where you brothers are at, but I know from my personal experience that Bella Nevins chicken is a little bit more higher quality than what I'm used to, you know? So, just something to consider to the best of our ability. Fish is good, lighter than meat. Right. Yeah, that's good too. You know, Got some good salmon on the grill. Shit, you can't beat it. Yeah, tilapia. Tilapia is all right, but I avoid tilapia because tilapia is modified, and I know it's a lot more of lower quality typically. But if you could find some decent tilapia, then hey, why not? But at the same time, if you have better options, like I would advise for salmon. Salmon. What else is good? Some good tuna. Do it the right way. This right here is some ginger powder, but you can put that in a tea. All right, because the problem with tilapia that I found is that a lot of the time is low quality, and it's like a heavily genetically modified, hybridized species. Some shit that, yeah, trout. That's a good one. Yep, rainbow trout. Bronzini. Bronzini is a good one. If you're gonna have meat, try to get bison steak, which I found that at Whole Foods they have bison steak, And the bison is sometimes it's just like the same price of regular meat, regular like beef. Yeah, hey, listen, but at the same time, listen, it's not off if you eat tilapia. That's just my advice to the spirit. But at the same time, everything we eat is defiled in one way, shape, or form or another. So we're gonna get the best of the best in the kingdom, but over on this side, we got to get the best of the worst. So, but again, personal preference comes into play, and also what works for you. In terms of flours, is chickpea flour. Oh, you know what? Before I close this lesson out, oh yeah, to cook with, you got virgin olive oil, but also what's even better than that I found is grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil. So over here, spelt flour, spelt flour. If you're gonna bake anything with like bread, spelt flour is the best one to use. Also, rye. See, yeah, this is the coconut sugar. The brother had mentioned that. Spelt flour. And this is like, you think, oh yeah, yeah, that's that's some ball and shit. Nah, the spelt flour is like 350 at the store, 3.99. It ain't that much, but Jake be out here acting like it's so expensive to eat healthy, but then go and spend 200 on some Jordans. Jake's priorities are fucked up, you know? Yeah, this is date sugar, agave powder. See, that's to me is more of a flex, is herbs and health food than just, shoes and a bunch of bullshit, overpriced nonsense that cost pennies to make, and then they charge you hundreds of dollars for it. Yeah, grape seed is really good. I use that and olive oil to make unleavened bread. That's beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, grapeseed oil, avocado oil. Avocado is a good source of healthy fat. Garbanzo beans. I love to eat chickpeas, and you could roast them up too and season them. Chickpea pasta is good stuff too. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You got the ramen noodles. But definitely don't stay away from that, Jake. I just happen to have them here. And I'll say this, I ain't the one that eats them in the house. But, you know, shit, I ain't going to tell you now, hey, I would advise you not to, but hey, Jake is going to do what they want to do. But I don't really be eating ramen noodles like that. But hey, you know, certain people in my family do. So that's why we got them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Uh, Coconut oil, a little bit of coconut oil is good. Get things flowing and keep your heart healthy. And yeah, so that's basically what I could think of for now. If anything else comes up, Lord's will, maybe I could do a follow-up lesson. Oh, and also drink about a gallon of spring water a day. Try to get a gallon of spring water in a day, you know. And like I said, you can get a Crystal Geyser, and they have spring water also from Whole Foods that I saw was not too bad. It was like $1.60 for a gallon. But $1.60 to maintain your health. It's investing in ourselves, what better thing is there to invest in? Well, Yahweh Hashem Shai, that's why we do this work. That's the best investment. All right. But through the spirit of the Lord, we learn to really follow in the truth is to love ourselves, man, as well. We love Yahweh Hashem Shai above all, but following the Lord and doing what the Lord said is self-love. That's self-care, man. Yep. And add a key line to it. That's right, brother. Beautiful. Yeah, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Lord's will was edifying. I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakadash. Lord's will is edifying. And Shalom, Barakatham, to the hopeful elect. Shalom.